Have you ever stood up too quickly, felt a little off balance, and thought, that didn't used to happen? Maybe you've reached for something in the kitchen only to realize you needed to grab a chair to steady yourself. If so, you're definitely not alone. And I promise you, there's nothing wrong with you. Our bodies change with time, and that means our homes need to change with us. Now, I want you to imagine something for a second. Imagine walking through your home and feeling completely safe, confident with every step. No more slipping on that rug that always bunches up. No more struggling to reach that one cupboard that seems to be designed for giants. Just a calm, steady rhythm to your day without the little frustrations or big scares that can trip you up. That's what this video is all about. Today, we're talking about 5 simple, smart changes every senior home should have. Not big, expensive renovations. Not high-tech gadgets that you need a manual to understand. Just practical things that prevent falls, avoid accidents, and cut down on the kind of everyday frustration that can leave you feeling tired and even a little defeated, because you deserve to feel relaxed and secure in your own space. Let's start right where most falls actually happen, in the bathroom. And let me tell you, this room can be downright sneaky. It seems harmless, but all it takes is one wet floor, one awkward reach for the towel bar, and boom, you're on the ground, wondering how you got there. That's why the very first thing I recommend is installing sturdy, properly placed grab bars. Now, I'm not talking about the thin little towel racks. I mean real solid grab bars, the kind that don't wobble when you lean on them. Put one right by the toilet and another inside the shower. If getting in and out of the tub feels tricky, there are even grab bars that clamp onto the tub itself to give you a safe handhold. And please don't think these are only for people who are already frail. These are preventive tools. They're about keeping you strong and steady before anything ever goes wrong. Think of them like seatbelts. You hope you never need them, but when you do, they can be life-saving. A few months ago, I visited my friend Carol. She's 72, sharp as a tack, but her knees have been bothering her lately. She had a little plastic stool in her shower, but it was the kind that slides around if it gets too wet. When she leaned over to pick up her shampoo, the whole stool wobbled and nearly tipped her over. That moment scared her, and me too. We replaced it with a shower chair that had rubber grips and a backrest, and you could see the relief on her face. She said, "Why didn't I do this years ago?" Sometimes it's the small upgrades that bring the biggest peace of mind. Let's move on to something that's often overlooked, but it's hiding in plain sight right under your feet. Yep, rugs. Those beautiful little area rugs that tie the room together can also be one of the most dangerous things in your home. Even the ones with so-called non-slip backing can curl at the corners, slide when you step too quickly, or bunch up just enough to catch your toe. I once tripped over the edge of my hallway runner while carrying a basket of laundry. My foot got caught on the corner, and I just about went down like a sack of potatoes. Luckily, I caught myself, but it could have been a lot worse. That rug went straight to the donation pile the next day. What I use now are low-pile, heavy-backed rugs that stay flat, and I always secure the edges with double-sided rug tape, or better yet, rug grippers that lock it in place. And honestly, in high-traffic areas like hallways or near the kitchen sink, it's okay to just go without a rug altogether. Even better, focus on your flooring overall. If you've got old, slick tile or glossy wood, it may be worth looking into anti-slip coatings or textured mats. I'm not suggesting a full remodel here, just enough to keep your footing confident. Because here's the thing, when you're not worried about slipping, you naturally move more. You stay active, you feel better, and your whole day flows more smoothly. Now, speaking of smooth days, let's talk about lighting. This might sound too simple, but poor lighting is one of the top causes of missteps and stumbles, especially at night. Think about how many times you've gotten up for a glass of water, or maybe needed the restroom, and you've done it half blind, feeling your way through the dark like a cat burglar. That's no way to live. Every senior home needs proper lighting, not just in the living room or kitchen, but especially in transition areas. The path from your bed to the bathroom, the steps leading into your garage, that shadowy corner by the back door. A few motion sensor night lights placed in those key areas can make a world of difference. You don't even have to flip a switch. Just walk by and click, the light comes on. I'll share a quick story here. My cousin George installed one in the hallway outside his bedroom. One night his blood sugar dropped and he got up feeling woozy. That little light came on automatically, lit the way to the kitchen, and he told me afterward that it made him feel safe, like the house was looking out for him. That's what we want, right? A home that doesn't just shelter us but supports us. And it's not just about nighttime. Make sure your main living spaces are bright enough during the day too. If you find yourself squinting, turning lamps on and off, or avoiding certain rooms after sunset, that's a sign it's time for better bulbs or an extra floor lamp. Eyes change with age, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. It just means we adjust. Simple as that. So we've talked about grab bars, rugs, and lighting, and you might already be thinking of small changes you can make in your own home, or maybe in a loved one's home. That's wonderful. These aren't just tips. They're steps toward independence, confidence, and a safer, smoother life. Because every little improvement we make adds up to something bigger, the freedom to move through our days with less fear, more ease, and a whole lot more joy. Now that we've covered some of the most common spots where falls and frustration like to sneak in, let's move into the next area that makes a huge difference, but often gets overlooked. I'm talking about furniture. Yep, the chairs we sit in, the beds we sleep on, and even the coffee tables that seem to jump out at our toes when we're not looking. Let me ask you something. Have you ever struggled to get up from a chair that felt just a bit too low? Or maybe your favorite recliner feels cozy, but once you're settled in, getting out of it is a whole production. That's not your fault. That's your furniture not keeping up with your needs. And it's one of the easiest fixes that can dramatically improve your comfort and safety. So here's what I always suggest. Make sure you've got firm, supportive seating at the right height. Ideally, your knees should be level with or slightly below your hips when you're sitting. That makes standing up feel natural and easy, without that rocking back and forth motion or grabbing onto the armrest like you're hoisting yourself up a mountain. Choose chairs with sturdy armrests. Those are your secret helpers. They give you leverage, support, and peace of mind. And if you really want to level up, consider a lift chair. They're designed to tilt gently forward, helping you rise smoothly without straining your back or knees. It's like having a gentle nudge from a caring friend every time you need to stand. Beds are just as important. Too high, and it's like climbing into a truck. Too low, and you're halfway to the floor. The right bed height makes a difference, not just in how easily you get in and out, but in how confidently you do it. And confidence matters. When you feel secure in your movements, you're less likely to rush, stumble, or hesitate, which, as we know, is often when accidents happen. And while we're here, take a look at those little pieces of furniture around the house. Coffee tables with sharp corners, footstools in the middle of walking paths, magazine racks that jut out just far enough to catch your ankle. These are the kinds of things that seem harmless until you're trying to walk through the room in low light or carrying something in your arms. Make sure there's a clear, wide path through every room, especially the ones you move through often, like from your bedroom to the bathroom or from the kitchen to the living room. Now let's talk about the kitchen. It's the heart of the home, right? But for many seniors, it can become a daily source of strain or even danger without the right setup. You don't need to remodel the whole space, but small tweaks can make your kitchen work for you, not against you. Start with what I call reachability. How many times have you reached up high to grab a can of soup or had to bend way down to pull a heavy pan from the back of a lower cabinet? That motion, stretching and twisting, might have felt easy 20 years ago, but now it can throw off your balance or put stress on your shoulders and back. Try to keep your most used items between waist and chest level. That's your sweet spot. Stackable drawers, lazy Susans, or even pull-out shelves can bring everything into easy reach. And if you haven't already, look into lightweight kitchenware. There's no reason to wrestle with heavy cast iron if it hurts your wrists. These days, you can find pots and pans that are much lighter but still do the job beautifully. Let me tell you about my neighbor, Frank. He's 78, loves to cook, but his spice cabinet was way up over the stove. I watched him on a little step stool one afternoon, reaching with one hand and holding the wall with the other. My heart skipped a beat. We sat down that evening and rearranged his kitchen, moved the spices into a countertop drawer, put a few organizers on his pantry shelf so he didn't have to bend or stretch as much. He called me 2 days later and said, "You know, I didn't realize how much stress I had just trying to make dinner." That's what we want to avoid. Stress, strain, unnecessary effort. You've got better things to do. And one more thing, let's talk about spills. Kitchen floors can be dangerous when wet or greasy. Keep a roll of paper towels or reusable wipes within easy reach. If something spills, clean it up right away before it turns into a skating rink. And those cushion mats by the sink or stove, make sure they have anti-slip backing. If they curl up at the edges, it's time for new ones. No mat is worth a broken hip. At this point, we've looked at several parts of the home that play a role in keeping you safe and comfortable. Bathrooms, lighting, flooring, furniture, and now the kitchen. These aren't major renovations or expensive overhauls. They're simple, thoughtful changes that give you more control over your daily routine. And isn't that what it's really about? Control, comfort, confidence. You've spent decades building your life, taking care of others, working hard. Now it's your turn to feel taken care of, by your space, by the small choices you make, and by the tools that quietly support you as you go about your day. Every home tells a story, and yours should tell the story of someone who's wise, active, and still very much in charge of how their life unfolds. That starts with setting up your space to match your needs, not how they used to be, but how they are now. Because aging doesn't mean giving up freedom. It means getting smart about the little things that help you hold on to it. Let's keep going. There's one more area of the home that can make all the difference, and when it's set up just right, it can give you a greater sense of ease than you might expect. Now, the front door might not be the first place you think of when it comes to fall prevention, but think about how often you're using it. Whether you're bringing in groceries, walking the dog, checking the mail, or welcoming family and friends, the entryway is a high-traffic zone. And for many seniors, it's also one of the riskiest spots in the house. Steps that once felt easy can become uneven. The door frame becomes a juggling act if you're carrying things. And don't even get me started on rain, snow, or slick surfaces. Let's make that space safer and smarter. First, check the lighting around your entrance. A motion sensor porch light is a great start, bright enough to show every step clearly but automatic so you don't have to fumble with a switch. Even if you only go out in the daylight, it's good to be covered for those winter months when the sun sets earlier than we expect. Next, take a look at the doormat. Is it thick, bunched, curling at the edges? You know the kind. It looks nice, but every time you step on it, it folds or slips. Replace it with a low-profile, non-slip mat that grips the ground and lays completely flat. And if you have steps leading to your door, make sure there's a sturdy handrail. Not a decorative one, but something you can grab with confidence. If your steps are steep, or if you find yourself avoiding them altogether, consider a ramp. There are portable options out there that aren't a big deal to install, and they can make coming and going much more manageable. Now, I know this next suggestion might sound a little outside the box, but hear me out. A bench or small chair right inside or outside the entryway. Something sturdy, with arms. Why? Because sometimes you need a moment to rest after a walk, or you've come home with a few grocery bags and need to set them down before taking off your shoes. That little spot to pause, it can prevent a stumble, a dropped bag, or even just a stressful moment. And we're all about making life less stressful. Speaking of stress, let's touch on one final point that ties everything together. And it has less to do with a specific room and more to do with your overall setup. It's about organization. Clutter might seem harmless. Just a few magazines here, a spare cane there, maybe a pair of shoes by the door. But clutter creates obstacles. And when you're moving around your home, especially when you're tired, distracted, or just in a hurry, those small obstacles turn into real hazards. Think about how many times you've stepped around something instead of moving it, or how often you've had to shift piles to reach something underneath. Not only is that frustrating, it increases the risk of missteps. So take a little time to simplify. Put things where they belong. Use baskets, bins, drawer organizers, whatever helps you keep the surfaces clear and the pathways open. Not because you want your home to look like a magazine, but because you want to move through it with ease and confidence. My friend Alice, who's 80 and still sharp as a tack, told me once that she finally got rid of her extra side table. Not because she didn't like it, but because she realized she kept bumping her walker into it. "I didn't need the table," she said. "I needed room to move." That one choice made her living room feel more open, and it made her feel more in control. And that's exactly the kind of change we're aiming for. So as we wrap this up, take a moment to look around your home, not with a critical eye, but with a caring one. Ask yourself, is this space helping me feel steady? Or is it making things harder than they need to be? Am I working around my home? Or is my home working with me? Because here's the beautiful truth. You don't need to turn your house upside down to make it safer. You don't need to spend a fortune. You just need to look at your space with fresh eyes and a little intention. A grab bar here, better lighting there, the right chair, the right mat, fewer obstacles, and in return, you get something truly priceless. Independence, confidence, and a daily life that flows more smoothly with less worry and more peace of mind. You've lived too much life to be tiptoeing around your own home. You deserve to feel secure. You deserve to feel strong. And you deserve a home that supports every step you take, literally. So if anything in this video made you think, hey, I should fix that, or that sounds like something I could really use, then I hope you do. Start small. one change at a time. You'll feel the difference. And hey, I'd love to hear from you. If you've made any changes to your home that have helped you feel safer or more comfortable, share it in the comments. You never know. Your story could inspire someone else to make their home a better place too. If you found this helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more tips just like this. There's a whole world of smart, simple ways to feel stronger, happier, and more in control every day. And we're here to walk that path together. Here's to living your best life at any age, and to homes that help us do just that.